Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. Let's jump down to grab Jed out of Casper, Wyoming on 2. Hey, Jed, you're on Gun Talk. What you got?
How you doing today? So I'm got to give you a little back history on why it's super important this hunting season. Me and my dad have been trying for 24 years to draw an elk tag, and this year is his very last elk hunt. He told me he's done. It's my son's first year elk hunting, so very bittersweet. The old man runs a 30-06, I run a 30-06, and my son's going to be running a 270 this year. But we're hunting wide open sagebrush flats with some cedars, and I've been considering building up a 1,000-yard rifle, but I have some ethical debates with that, as I haven't actively practiced out to 1,000 yards with anything for, well, since I got out of the Army about 11 years ago.
Okay.
And I have it down to either the 6.8 Western or a 300 Win Mag, if I should choose to do it.
Well, okay, let's back up. First of all, those are both great cartridges, and both of them are capable of taking an elk at a long distance. The question is, and you touched on it, and I think, frankly, by the way you phrased it, you're probably open to my thoughts on it, which is don't shoot an elk at 1,000 yards. And I know there are people going, I can do that, I can do that. Yeah, right. You know, and how many elk a lot of elk are getting wounded for people who weirdly enough, don't want to shoot one up close. They want to back up and have bragging rights to shoot one at a long distance, which means, to me, you're a piss poor hunter if you can't get any closer than that. The other thing is, I
agree with you.
All right, and let me throw this thought out. I know a lot of people who are really good. I'm not a long-range shooter. People who are really good. I mean, they just first shot hits at 1,000 yards on steel all the time. None of them will take a shot like that on a game animal. None of them. For the simple reason that there are too many variables. The time of flight of the bullet, the animal can actually take a step and move 2 or 3 feet in the time of flight. So you can do everything right, and the animal still moves. And you either have a wounded animal, a gut shot animal, or a missed animal. Worse would be, of course, a wounded animal. The wind, a 2 or 3 mile an hour change in the wind speed can cause a miss or a gut shot animal when you've done everything right, which doesn't really matter a whole lot if you're shooting steel, big deal. But, just think about this. How would you feel with your dad and your son if you gut shot an elk and weren't able to recover it?
Well, in 24 years of hunting, I've always recovered every single animal, and it would be horrible to have that as the memory for my dad's last and my boy's first.
It would. So here's what I'm going to say about that. The rifles you have now will do what you need them to do out to, call it a good, honest 400 yards. And by the way, 400 yards is a long shot on an animal for most people.
I grew up hunting Wyoming. So long-distance shooting is something you've always had to do, but my dad always preaches try to get inside 5.
5 is a good number. I think 5 is a good number. That being said, the 6.8 Western is a great caliber. The 300 is. The 6.8 is going to give you the same trajectory and actually better wind bucking than the 300 with less recoil. So if you have that available, that would be my choice over the 300 mag.
Really?
Yes. Oh, it'll hit as hard, or it'll actually be hitting harder than the 300 mag once you get to 300 yards.
That's good to know, because I've really been thinking of sticking with 30 cal because I've always used the 30-06.
Yep, I know. You know, here's the problem we have. Those of us who've been doing this a long time, we know what we know what works, and it's hard for us to say, wait a minute. All that stuff that I, quote unquote, know to be true may actually not be true. And I call them magic bullets, these high BC bullets. They don't drop as fast, they don't drift in the wind, and they retain their energy like crazy. And I'm telling you, if you go look up your tables, you're going to find the 6.8 Western I'm guessing somewhere around 300 yards starts to deliver more energy than the 300 Win Mag.
Okay.
Crazy. It's crazy. And doing it all with less recoil. Besides, it gives you a reason to get a new rifle, right?
And that less recoil thing is great because I'm fixing to possibly have to have shoulder surgery myself.
Yep, that'll do it. And the 300 mag is great, but it's not a whole lot of fun to shoot. I would look at that, and judging from what you're saying, and I agree with you, I would say 500 is your limit, that and a good rangefinder, and then practice like crazy. Do a lot of shooting at different distances, and particularly after you get it sighted in, there's no need to shoot it off a bench anymore. You should be shooting from field position from that point forward.
Absolutely. Thanks for your advice. I appreciate it.
All righty. You take care. Hey, good luck on the hunt.